Hello. What up? What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. Blood Splatter Chatter. Verno here with you. Big Stu, the missing link, and Wes joining us once again. And this week, we are doing Big Stu's pick, Zodiac from 2007, directed by David Fincher, starring Jake Gyllenhaal, Robert Downey Jr., Mark Ruffalo, and the rest of the MCU cast. It's good, clean fun, man. This is why the Stu you've been saying you wanted to get to forever. And
Yeah.
I pretty much knew that this was going to happen, man. I'm telling you backstage, I've been obsessing over this shit like all week long. I wasn't joking when I said I've watched 4 hours. I watched the movie, 2.5 hour plus movie, and then I watched some random documentary on YouTube. I watched some of the stuff that you sent me, Stu, and then I watched a documentary that Netflix did a couple years ago called "This Is the Zodiac Speaking." And you guys see that before we get rolling?
Yep.
Really good stuff.
Yeah.
Really good shit. But yeah, I mean, that's the reason why it persists till today, because there's so many different layers to it. You can think you know exactly who it is. It's Arthur Lee Allen, and then you hear something like, "Oh no, he has nothing to do with it," and then you're convinced that he is. It's so easy to go back and forth and all over. But great movie, man. Great movie. Great pick. It'd be a really fun one to get to. But Mr. Stu, man, what up? Welcome.
What up? Oh yeah, man. Glad to be here. Glad to get into it. I think my second favorite Fincher film behind Seven, but I think really his best film overall. Just really incredible piece of artwork, immersive in how it just dives into the world of 1969, 1970, and really just takes you from there. And just like one of the best, like I think first hours in any movie ever, man. I mean, that's when the majority of the action takes place, but still, like the way he's able to carry your attention on through with the investigation is incredible. So thank you for letting me highlight this one and spotlight it, and appreciate y'all joining the combo.
Hell yeah, of course, brother. Missing link. I know not a first time watch for you, but what up, my dude? How we been?
Doing well. Happy to be here talking about this classic.
So I'm talking about. Did we lose Wes?
I'm still here. My dog's just barking. Sorry.
I was gonna say, were you murdered? You're out west. Were you murdered by the Zodiac?
I got got. Oh no.
I was telling you guys before we got rolling, like I almost didn't even realize till like a half hour ago. It's like, oh, I've been obsessing over the real case so much this week. I didn't even look too deeply into like the making of the film or any interesting background or even why David Fincher got involved in it. So I don't know. Stu, you don't know like any of that?
Yeah. So Fincher grew up in the Bay Area, always been, and he Graysmith when he was optioning the book, which is based, Robert Graysmith, Gyllenhaal's character. His book is the main basis of the movie. They met at some other film viewing, and they based off of Seven. They wanted, like, after conversations with Fincher, they wanted him to be the guy for this. So it just kind of went from there. But yeah, man, it's I just think just the way he built it off of the case files and just how like I said earlier, how true he was to the time era. I think and obviously, like, his penchant for atmospheric horror. I think this was like just right in his wheelhouse. Perfect choice for a director. And I think it really, and also, ensuring that it was going to get written the right way. And I think that's what you're talking about is like going down that rabbit hole. I think is like one of the best things about the film is how it gives you the facts, and then it just lets you kind of go on your own tangent and really, like, judge, Arthur Lee Allen, the other suspects, everything's so circumstantial. You're off the leash, you're going in a million different directions. And I just love that because it is, when it comes to American serial killers, I don't think there's anybody, this guy's the ultimate when it comes to unsolved, murders. And
for sure,
we're now in a spot where it's like, he might still be alive, but he might be dead. Like we're on the brink of like, kind of like losing all this to the sands of time. So I think a film like this that really, lays down the facts and the sentiment of that time is like, is like a historical document as much as it is like an entertaining film, or entertaining movie. So I laud Fincher for that. You know what I mean? He could have gotten a little extra spooky with it, twisted some things, made some things a little bit more delicious, we'll say. But like, I love the way he took the facts and was able to fucking make it scary enough just with that. So
For sure, dude. Even just like rewatching it, just that opening scene, you're like, oh yeah, this. Because last week I was like, not really a horror movie, and which it's still not. Like I wouldn't. It's not a horror movie, but it's got enough of the elements that it fits the channel that we're doing here, at least the type of conversations that we want to have. E saying Fincher's best movie, in his opinion, dude. You guys know me, like especially like around the time this movie came out, like when this movie came out. I'm looking at his list right now. Even when I looked at it today, I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know he did The Social Network. Oh shit, I didn't know he did Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Yeah.
Back like around this era, like I wasn't the type to like really like follow a director that way. If your name wasn't Quentin Tarantino or something like that, like I didn't really know. But now looking at it, it's like, oh shit. First of all, I'm like surprised how few movies he has, but also like there is like Curious Case of Benjamin Button and Social Network. I wouldn't have expected those to be David Fincher movies looking at it. But Fight Club, I mean, that's what I was going to ask you guys. Like, what, like, Link, I'll start with you. Like, what's your favorite David Fincher movie? Like, is it Seven? Is it this one? Is it Fight Club? You know,
I don't have. I'd have to think about that honestly, because he does have such a diverse catalog.
Right.
I feel like shit like Benjamin Button, for example, was kind of gets overlooked because it's not his usual dark, moody, you know. But there's a cool. He's I don't know. It's between this, Fight Club, and Seven. Like those are easy. I feel like those are solid, easy go-to picks for Fincher.
I might lean Fight Club. It's the one that I've seen the most for sure. Seven behind that, and then I think I've only seen this one. This is probably my third time watching it this week. Benjamin Button. I loved that when it came out. But like you're saying, it's a really different kind of thing. What about you, Wes? Do you have a favorite Fincher film?
I gotta say Gone Girl. Gone Girl's probably my favorite Fincher film, and then I think this Zodiac is probably my second favorite. But Gone Girl is that movie like blew my mind because I hadn't read the book when I saw it in the theaters, and I ended up seeing it like 3 times in the theaters that weekend.
Oh, damn.
And if I feel like
no, to your point, I feel like that's like that kind of didn't put Ben Affleck on the map, but it kind of like all the jokes about Ben Affleck not being a good actor and shit kind of you know, once this came out, all that ceased.
Hell yeah. I mean, Fincher is really good at directing actors and bringing like really good performances out of them too, and I think that shows in this movie especially because I mean it's an all-star cast. Like I'm looking through it right now, every single one of them is incredible, and many of them have won Oscars. But like I just something about David Fincher, he just really brings an incredible performance. And maybe it's like that weird Kubrickian, like I'm gonna do 100 takes of this thing, like that, which is horrible, and you know I feel bad for the actors, but you know he brings something out of them, that's for sure. Like they all really gave like career defining performances, I would say, in this movie. Like incredible, like so good.
Stu, I feel like you kind of like you began on your overall thoughts, but I'm sure you have more to say. Like, how was the rewatch for you? And your history with it.
Rewatch is always incredible. I just think the way he brings you into the world, the music, July 4th, the fireworks, that opening scene when you're in the driver's seat, but you're looking out the passenger, homeboy gets picked up, like just the way that first murder happens, you're automatically in on it. And then I just love the pacing. Then, you know, the breakaway, you get that great open sweeping shot of the port of San Francisco. It's just so clean and just glorious. And then you're at the paper the day that they receive their first Zodiac letter. So there's not, they cut it so lean. I feel like all the beats are either important to the investigation or the myth of the investigation. And it just keeps you intrigued and like, you know, but dude, Lake Berryessa attack is an all-timer. There's the way that shot is fucking hypnotic and horrifying. Even like the joints that we don't even know are necessarily Zodiac. The car ride with Kathleen Johns and her baby. Yeah. Like we're not necessarily sure that's him, but still the way that's done, absolutely terrifying. And then towards the end when Gyllenhaal visits Homeboy's house with the movie, with the movie guy and goes down in the basement. Here's the creaking of the steps. Yeah, it's just I love how even when we kind of break away and we're pulled into the kind of whirlpool of the investigation, we take these dramatic / violent interludes that really, keep your attention. So between like the reenactment of whether it's the crimes themselves, like you go into the archival footage and you hear like the dispatchers talk about the way he spoke, and then how Fincher recreated that in these phone calls and stuff like that. Everything is just to the T, honors every detail, and it's really incredible. So it's like, whether it's like the crimes itself or the investigation, or like I said, just the wild shit that happened around it, and like, watching all these people's lives get locked up in obsession and chasing this guy. It's just enigmatic and never lets you go, I think, from jump. So rewatch is always a gift.
I'm glad you brought up the phone call, because one of the documentaries that I was watching, they played, it was before I'd rewatched the movie, and they played like the phone call, and they were almost acting like they didn't say it or anything, but they did not say it. They were almost acting like that was a recording of the Zodiac. So I had to look into it, and that goodbye, like they pulled that from this movie and they played it in that documentary. But evidently that's a real thing. Like, that was one thing that the dispatcher noted, is like he said goodbye in this very strange, elongated way. It makes me wonder, because one of the things like making the case like against it being Arthur Lee Allen was that dispatcher says when she heard his voice, she's like, that doesn't sound like the guy. But you could be putting on a fake voice, especially if you're twisting your words and like doing strange stuff like that. That would lead me to believe that maybe he was trying to put on like a fake ass voice. But what about you? Like, how was the rewatch for you?
It was great. Yeah, this is just a banger, man. Anytime you put it on. One thing I do appreciate about this movie and Fincher in general is like the texture he adds to his worlds. It's always there, but when he does period pieces like this, like, it doesn't feel like we're in this, like, in a good way. It feels like we're people are living in a time. It doesn't feel like they're trying to emulate like the 60s or the 70s or the 80s or like that. It feels like a lived in world. So it makes it more believable. I liked that for it to have like time jump so much. Like, this movie spans decades in a sense, but it never feels incohesive. Like, even when there's like a time jump, like the audience knows what's going on, and like even if certain things have changed with characters, and just the mystery. Like, I feel like the audience, Jake Gyllenhaal, obviously kind of the main character if you had to nail him down, but his whole journey, like, is the audience's journey of trying to, like, we're fucking seeing the clues along there with them, but it's like the loopholes in the system and shit like that, and all the other coincidences or happenstance just kind of get in the way, and it's very frustrating. So you feel Jake Gyllenhaal, everyone's frustration throughout this film, because you're like, what the fuck? Like, we see it, they see it. Why doesn't, But yeah, man, this is it's a banger, man. Like, this could, in the wrong hands, I feel like, because they did it to a movie this called The Zodiac, and really boring.
Really?
Compared to this. It's got a decent cast. You saw it?
It was before this or after it? Before it, right?
It might have been like right before it.
I don't think I saw it.
Like, had, or like, it was very close, called The Zodiac. I had the chick from The Craft.
Really?
Okay, so it was like 2 years. Yeah, that's how you not to do it. Like, it just seems like very boring, very basic. This says like it's just dripping with style and substance. I don't know, man. Like, yeah, this is just a very well crafted film, and it's always a treat to visit.
Hell yeah. I like what, like you said about Jake Gyllenhaal, because you guys know me, I'm always like, who's the main character? And this is definitely like, it's spread around through Ruffalo, Robert Downey Jr., Jake Gyllenhaal. Gyllenhaal is definitely the perspective character, and I kind of feel like towards the end of the movie is when you get more of him. At the beginning and the end, the middle is a lot more Ruffalo in the investigation, which makes sense. But like, he's the one that's obsessed, and that is what the viewer is supposed to be doing. the viewer is supposed to be getting really hooked on and really, really curious about it. So it's like a perfect perspective character where you're getting wrapped up in it.
Yeah, at the end, he's just like like I feel like there's like 3 or 4 scenes that are just him in the pouring ass rain, beating on a window, and somebody's like, "Is he here at the house?" Like, what is wrong with it? Yeah, what Link? I just want to say what Link said about time, I think is so true with this one. It's always like 3 days later, 4 weeks later, 30 days later, to where the timeline feels so compressed and you're in it, to where the point, like when I was watching the rewatch and we get to that scene at the very end where Homeboy, we get that famous, scene both in history and in the movie where he picks him out of the lineup, and he's like, "It's been 22 years." You're like, "Fuck!" You come out of the fog and you're like, "Oh shit!" Like it's like this is how long, like it's just a great moment of like kind of perspective and realization.
That's supposed to be the guy from the opening scene, right? The guy that climbs in the back seat. He gets shot, right? What the fuck is his name? And It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Why am I
they're like the McBoyle twins, the McBoyle twins.
McBoyle, yeah. Perfect cast.
I keep waiting to do some outlandish shit in that fucking interview room, like just break into that character.
And shout out to him, the younger version of him. This might be a far fetch, but there's a show called One Tree Hill back in the day that I used to watch, and he played, he would play like this geeky character that eventually like got the girls and shit, and so it was cool to see him in this one. I was like, hell yeah, you seem a little geeky, you're still getting the girls.
He looks like the real life guy too. Watching documentaries and seeing that guy, it was great casting. Yeah, he looks quite a bit like him. And the other thing I was going to say about McBoyle is like on his best day, he looks like he's been through some shit. So you see this guy 22, you know what I mean? 22 years later, you ever seen that fucked him up.
Westworld, bro. He plays a character in Westworld, and he's even cleaned up, bro. He's like you said, it still seems like he's been through some shit. Like he can't escape.
Slimy feel to him. Yeah. He's got like a thin layer of perspiration on his skin.
Yeah, he does. He looks a little extra.
Yeah, a little greasy. Yeah.
Wes, before I send it to you guys in the chat, like this is the one thing that we're going to be digging into. Obviously, do you think Arthur Lee Allen was the Zodiac Killer? Also, was I supposed to capitalize the T in Zodiac? I feel like I'm giving this guy like he's God or something.
He is the Zodiac. There's no other Zodiac.
Sure. Put it down there. I really want to know, like, what do the majority of people think? Because I honestly, like, it seems so obvious in so many ways that it is him, but at the same time, like, there's a lot of things that make you think that it possibly could not be, and we'll get into it, that there's a bunch of different Zodiac killers, that there's a bunch of killers, copycats, one letter writer, a bunch of copycats. There's so many theories about it. But how about you, Wes? What do you think? How was the rewatch for you?
Incredible rewatch. I haven't seen this movie for a very long time. Like I'm trying to think, like it has to be like around 10 years or so. It's been a really long time. And it was just a really great rewatch. Honestly, I think this is probably one of the scariest movies ever. Not like necessarily because it has like a lot of like jump scares or anything, but because it's so like cold and observational. Like there's like something about that like is more unnerving than like this a horror movie with a bunch of jump scares. So like it really does unsettle me like through and through, like from the very opening scene to the end. And like a lot of that I think is the brilliant camera work, like the one scene when the taxi driver is picking him up and dropping him off, and the camera's just kind of like floating above them, and like it's all stabilized and stuff, and it's following them as they turn, and like you just feel like the suspense settling in your stomach every time, and it's so good. And there's so many scenes that are just filmed in such a way where it's like, if this, it's like filmed like a horror movie, but there's not any of those tricks. There's no like jump scares. There's no, creepy music really, like in a lot of these scenes. A lot of them are like dead silent, and I think that like works to their advantage. Like the Berryessa Lake scene is like silent. I think there's like no score, right? Like I'm pretty sure. I don't know because I'm holding my breath that entire scene, so I can't remember for sure.
No, I think you're dead on. Like I feel like, when she first sees him, you can hear the wind whistling through the grass.
Yes, it's so spooky. And like we've all been out on a beach, at a lake, and hearing the wind rustle through the grass and like having a peaceful day. And like for some reason, that scene is one of the most effective like daytime horror scenes I think ever, because it really does just like scare the crap
it's out in the open, it's brightly lit, and it's like to your point about the no music. It kind of like the transition, because they're having an idyllic, peaceful day on the beach, the breeze is going and shit, and he just comes out of nowhere. So it's like the music sometimes cues emotions, like it's built to cue emotions. Without the music, you're feeling the natural energy of that weird, like, oh shit, like it's very jarring.
So I would say this was one of the scariest movies I've seen in a really long time, and I don't remember it being that scary when I first watched it. But I also just don't think I was like that like primed to cinema language, at the time. So it was a great rewatch.
I love like Lake Berryessa, the way they state, like you really do think it's just going to be a harmless robbery, and then there's that scene when he's got them both tied up or whatever, and like Fincher goes back and forth with like the face-to-face shots when they're both lying on the ground. And like you just feel her breath pick up.
Oh my! I hate, bro. That's the scene that gives me the every time.
I'm just thinking about it. Yeah,
not be able to, because you actually want to like defend yourself, and then the chick I think is the worst, just because she's like naturally reacting to it, and he's like getting her everywhere. The guy he just got in the back a few times, that still sucks. But the chick, he's like stabbing the side, the chest, the back. I'm like, oh my god, she can't even block. She's just. That's such a terrible scene. It's
a horrifying scene.
It's so crazy too that like she described him to police and then got in the ambulance, went into a coma, and never came out of it. Like it's
that's going down, really.
Yeah. And it's like
I didn't see that.
That one's so eerie to me too, because it's like the only time we get him in a costume. Like that's the only time he really dressed up and went all out for it.
Well, that's
like,
you know what part of that I really that when he's like, just in case someone asked, was that thing even really loaded? And he like leans down and shows him like there's something about that. I felt like that was the switch. Maybe like that made him want to kill. Like I don't know. For me, there's nothing to solidify that, but I feel like the cockiness of that question, like him not taking him seriously, like was it even loaded? He's kind of like, okay, motherfucker, I'm gonna show you.
Like I wonder if that's when he decided between shooting and knifing them. Like he wondered, like. Yeah, once you see those hollow points in that clip, you're like, oh,
That's one of the things that leads you to thinking that it could be like two different people too. Like that's the scene that is so different than all the other ones, and that's what a lot of like investigators or people would say about serial killers. Like he really splits the MO. It's a knife attack instead of a gun. He's wearing a costume. He doesn't after that. You don't hear about him wearing the costume another time. Also, just how fucking weird is it that a guy, like a serial killer, has a logo, and that at this point in time, this is pre-Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Michael Myers and Jason. I feel like, and I've heard other people say this too, the reason why we got all those masked killers in all the horror movies is that right there. Like the fear of a masked killer going around, he led to that, like big time.
You guys ever seen Summer of Sam by Spike Lee?
Spike Lee,
It's a good. I would say that's a good. Zodiac's definitely better, but it's a good little complimentary. It's got like similar vibes to it. With this one, they kind of chase like the obsession of trying to get him, but with Summer of Sam, it kind of dwells in the paranoia of you can't even fucking enjoy the night out.
That's cool. I like that idea. Allison Troy, I love this. She's saying, first of all, her former boss was friends with Robert Graysmith. He's very much obsessed with that in reality. That is interesting. Also, this is cool. She says she has researched the Zodiac case and toured all of the crime scenes, and she says Arthur Lee Allen is not a good candidate. Very interesting. I've got some stuff we can pull up to dig into that a little bit.
Our boy E lives right around the block from Lake Berryessa.
That's what he was saying last night. Yeah, he said he's like 20 minutes away or like minutes away.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Very quiet. One of the cool things is that they filmed that because I had seen a documentary and they're showing like the area, and then I watched the movie and I'm like, damn, that looks so like the area. So I had to look it up, and they did. They went to the exact spot where the killing happened, and they filmed it there, which would have been.
How are those actors? Has anything happened to those actors since then? Like any bad luck?
I don't know. That's a good question. What up, Warren Smith? Man, it's good to see you, brother. Warren? Good to see you. Again, you guys answer that poll question if you thought, where are we at on that? I'm kind of curious. 50-50 right now. Well, I'm debating whether to bring up the cast or get into this other shit that I got. Let's bring up the cast and talk about these characters first.
Oh yeah.
Boom. Because it is so good. And like we said, like there's these different sections of it. And anytime you got a movie that's like spanning these decades, like you're saying, like you can't just have one character be in every scene for the whole movie. So like they did such a good job of casting this. Robert Downey Jr., right before Iron Man. He's still like, I'm pretty sure if I remember right, he's still like in the middle, obviously, of making his comeback from all the bad publicity that he had and all the drugs and all that. And the biggest thing that strikes me is how Iron Man he is, how Tony Stark he is, up until he's like all drunk and all messed up. But at the beginning of the movie, just the way he talks and everything, it's like, I don't watch a lot. I don't see Robert Downey Jr. outside of Iron Man movies very often anymore, honestly. And it's just like, it's kind of weird to see him be like, oh my God, like what the fuck is Tony Stark doing in this movie? But such a great job with the cast.
At that like a first editorial meeting when they get the letter and he's like, I cover crime in Vallejo. I cover crime in Vallejo. I'm going to get right on that. You know what I mean? He's got that goofy aloofness to him. Like,
yeah.
And the flamboyant handkerchiefs or whatever they're called. He's really, that seems so RDJ, bro. Like, I feel like he's worn that out. That was part of his personal wardrobe in reality, you know. Like, but it's weird about him because I feel like, deservedly so, 2008 is like his year, but he was building himself up a few years before this. Like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is when I think that's when he really like that put him on the map as like for his comeback. But it's like in 2008, that's when he kind of solidified himself. But like you were saying before Iron Man, he was actually putting out solid work. But I feel like a lot of like his credibility nowadays goes to like Iron Man, Tropic Thunder when we had the fucking Zodiac and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang years before that.
Dude, is Kiss Kiss? Like, I'm showing my ignorance here because it's been a long time since I've seen it. Is he? And I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. Maybe I'm. Is he like a serial killer in that? Is he? Well, is that the movie that he's the killer in, or no? What am I thinking of where he is like the serial killer murderer guy? Am I tripping? It's like a really dark movie. Maybe I'm fucking tripping. It's been a long ass time since I've seen it.
I think I know what you're talking about. It's just I can't think of it.
Right. All right. Well, who's someone that you would like to highlight, Stu? And by the way, I'm not going anywhere. I've got to shut my camera off. I got to go turn the fan on. It's hot as balls back here. But I'm here.
Man, so many tough choices here. I'm gonna go with I think a guy who some of these. I love Downey and what he did with Paul Avery, but I feel like some of that was heavily fictionalized, especially like reading about towards the end of Avery's life. Like some of that is true, but it just seems like the way he completely falls off the table is a little much. However, watching like archival footage of Melvin Belli, Brian Cox, fucking nerd. Like he always does that, but like just the way he matched his voice, his intonations, his just like the way he carried himself was absolutely incredible. It's in a performance where I appreciated it just watching the movie as it was, but then going back and like seeing interviews with Melvin, seeing how he really was, and like how Cox just absolutely.
Oh, really?
Watching that Good Morning show. Absolutely, dude. Like one of the top tier actors of all time, one of the best of his generation, and just like I just love the arrogance. Like when they go to his house on Christmas. Detectives, I think this is a cry for help disguised as a private communique. Like just how full of himself he is, right? Like in his place, like Melvin, this man trusts you. This man's reaching out to you. I know. Like it's so good. And he's offering him a hot toddy and shit like that. It's just fucking pitch perfect, man. So that was like one like I have to shout out because really researching the case and seeing these people in real life after the fact, I was like, wow. That was impressive.
That's awesome. He does. Yeah. He's got like one of like top 10 voices in cinema history.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? I would love to like read an audiobook with him doing it. Like he's one of those guys.
I don't know if you've ever seen Adaptation. Are you about to talk about Adaptation?
That's a great one though. That's a great one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Nick Cage as Charlie Coffin asked him this like softball question and he just fucking rips him apart. About the question and like about life in general. I could watch that scene pretty much every day. Like
he's got some great lines in The Ringer. That movie could not be made today, but that's definitely got some great Brian Cox lines.
Yeah, and
some
the Super
say
Troopers.
He's the best Hannibal Lecter. Some say it.
I love Manhunter. Such a good movie.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Hard to beat Hopkins though. But the Super Troopers guys say he shows up like free of charge, I think, at this point for like 2 and 3, just to be, or for very little money, not what he would normally ask, just to be a part of it. Like, it's just he's awesome. Yeah.
Warren saying this is even better than an audiobook. He can read a grocery list. What up, most is dopest? Never seen it. If you've been into the case, then we're not spoiling anything for you. They don't solve the case in the movie, so don't worry about it. We're not spoiling anything. But definitely go check it out, brother. It's on Paramount Plus. 2 weeks in a row, we're covering a movie that is on the worst of all the streaming apps, Paramount Plus, which never they have fine programming, but goddamn, is it a faulty app, man? It's pain in the ass. Yeah. But what about you, Link? Who's someone you'd like to highlight?
I'll go with Mr. Lee, the Zodiac himself.
Yeah, so good.
You know, he kind of I got to go back and look at it, but I don't feel like he had too much screen time. But when he did, he's just an actor who anytime he's always got good presence and anything he's in. It can always be like a small actor, but he has like I don't know, gravitas. But there's something about him that's very intimidating. He's very he has that friendly. He seems like he could be a serial killer. Like that. I feel like that's why he plays roles like that.
Or he seems like he could be the nicest guy alive.
The nicest, yes, the nicest neighbor. Anytime he's in something, he's kind of I don't know. He didn't even have that many like crazy lines, but I just feel like it was like his delivery. Like one I really loved was like the sarcastic era when he's like having that interview with the three of them, and he's like, "I look forward to the day when the police are no longer called pigs," and he just kind of throws down the notepad and kind of gives them a look, and like it's it's such a small little subtle thing, but he adds a lot of presence to any role he's in. So
just that look on his face in this picture right here.
Yes,
it's like his disdain that he has for him. What's the other line he says? Something like, "I'm not the Zodiac, and if I was, I wouldn't tell you."
Wouldn't tell you.
That's so good too. Shout out to The Invitation. So one of my favorite movies. He's so good in that. The Invitation.
Didn't he play that killer clown on American Horror Story?
Yes, Twisty.
Yeah.
No, Twisty. I think he's coming. I don't know if he's going to be the actor, but they just dropped I don't know if they dropped it today. I seen a trailer for the new season of American Horror Story. Twisty the clown was in that bitch.
Yeah,
amazing. He's back.
He was Drew Carey's brother in the Drew Carey show. Says that dude is always Drew Carey to me. He says, "Was he?"
Oh wow!
It's been so many fucking years, man. That's cool. That's crazy. What about you, Wes? Who's someone that you would like to highlight?
The guy that played Bob Vaughn. Who is that? In the basement scene. The guy most terrifying scene in the movie, probably. And I can't even disagree with Jake Gyllenhaal's choice to go down there, because he's like, I really want to know. Like that's his whole obsession. And so it's like, oh my gosh. So it's just like you have to go down there. You have to go down there and see. And it's like it really is this scariest scene. And also I think it's a brilliantly directed scene, because it's one of the scenes that kind of fills you with the most kind of like, what the hell is going on? Like ambiguous. Like it's a really frustrating scene, because you hear the footsteps upstairs and you're like, is there somebody going on? It kind of like makes you think that the Zodiac could be two people, like, and he's one half of the Zodiac or something for like a split second.
Right.
And like the one of the, like, it's just so good. And it's like one of the things David Fincher does is he tells the facts, but he tells them in a way that like also like leads you to be so frustrated with and of course there's some Hollywooding, like the Paul Avery, Robert Graysmith friendship, but like the facts are told, but they're told in a way that they're also led down like all the frustrating things like that made this case impossible to solve, like the fact that even at the very end the guy points out like two people for like a split second. He's like, oh, but he had a round face like this guy, and he's like, oh, right. So are you pointing at this guy too? Right. And it's just like, what's going on here? Like,
which is real.
That actually happened. And that's what makes this case so frustrating. And that's what makes it's so maddening. And that scene is like the epitome of all the maddening, like things coming together in such a horrifying way. And his performance, whoever plays Bob Vaughn, I'm looking at the IMDb, but for some reason,
it's Charles Fleischer, which
incredible.
All I'm seeing on his, like just a quick list of movies is a bunch of animated movies, including Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Wow.
He's got a really like familiar face to me, but it's like, where the fuck have I seen this guy?
Yeah.
Demon Knight, Tales from the Crypt, Night of the Demon.
Nice.
Oh, is he like he's like the nerdy guy, like Yeah, he's like the shy virgin type guy in that. He was in Gridlocked with Tupac Shakur.
Oh hell yeah!
It's
Amazing.
been a hot minute since
That's
I've
a
seen
crazy
Gridlocked.
career.
I just love I love the way Gyllenhaal clammed up when he found out it was his handwriting on the movie.
Oh my
poster.
God.
Immediately
That's
tried
really
to get the fuck out of there. Yeah, he's like,
I wonder.
So scary.
I assume that's true, and that's really intriguing. Like, this is the closest match we've got. He's like, bitch, that's me. You know, which if you would think if he was the killer, like he wouldn't say that. Then again, if Arthur Lee Allen was the killer, you would think he wouldn't say a bunch of shit that he says. He offers up to like, oh, and those bloody knives that were in my car.
That's what makes me think it had to have been him. That's like, it's gotta be. That's the thing that makes. Oh, that's the thing. That's like my thing. I can't get over right there.
If he was like that's part of like serial killers that leave like clues and share stamps is because part of them wants to be caught. You know, there's an excitement there. They want to.
Allison said, sorry, brother. He was the voice of Roger Rabbit. I wondered that, dude. He was also the sleep doctor in the first Elm Street. Okay. I love Allison saying Chloe Sevigny. I'm going to guess how you say that. As the drag wife actually makes you overlook how terrible of a husband Grace Smith is. You know what's interesting to me is like when his wife leaves and takes the kids and he's just like, he doesn't say fuck yeah. But like when they see him next, he's got the whole house, and you almost think that he's like now he's more in his element. He's probably like mentally. He's kind of like, thank God.
Yeah, I love how he pulls her note off of the thing, and then like he looks on the back of it, and it's got something related to the case.
Yeah, and then he immediately dives back in.
Immediately back in it. Like he's sad for like 3 seconds. Yeah.
I like how they portray her though, because she doesn't seem unreasonable. Like I totally get what she's saying. She's like, "Hello, you're this guy kills people, and you're on TV. Like we got kids.
Right.
Like what are you doing?" Like I totally get what she's coming from. Like everything she does makes sense, but like you also get that he's so obsessed with the case, and so like I don't know. I feel like they played that really balanced in a way.
They did. I love the way they showed that progression too, like how at first he's hesitant with his son to have him around the TV and stuff like that. And then there's that scene on down the line. He gets up from dinner and goes down and sits on the couch, and then his son does the same thing and is like sitting down next to him eating, and it's like they're 2 peas in a pot. It's like
and then he's got he's got all the kids working on the case with him.
Yes, I love that scene.
My colleagues,
oh my gosh,
Dad,
my colleagues. That is good.
He's like, how did you get all this figured out, my colleagues?
All right, I'm gonna. Well, first let's shout out Mark Ruffalo because he does a great job too. I didn't know this until kind of looking into this, but his character, whose name I forget, it's like Tashi.
Greg Toshi.
Officer Tashi.
He's the inspiration for Dirty Harry. So he was already this big hot shot cop before this. And who?
Steve McQueen and Bullet.
Those
guys are based off of him. That whole gun in the fucking whatever, the sidearm and the sling and type
his
shit.
little sling holsters.
What was it with the fucking animal crackers though? God,
right. He's like, you got animal crackers?
We get it. Like that helps him think. Jesus.
I was saving those for later.
I kept thinking that was like going to come back in some way. We're like, I don't know, like that was going to tie in. Now
he's with his new partner and he's like, "You got any animal crackers?" The guy's like, "What?"
What?
There is a thing where there was suspicion. Basically, the whole thing where like. When Arthur Lee Allen went to jail, the communications stopped, and then when he got out of jail, they got another letter. Like that's what everyone says. Like then the communications and the killing started up again. It isn't necessarily completely true. Like they stopped when he went into jail, but then when he got out, there was another 1978 letter that most people don't think is real. They think it was a forgery. And around that same time, that's when this dude, he had wrote a letter to like a newspaper, like saying like it was a fan letter, like saying like you need to write more about
the job
this.
He does,
yeah. And then the letter that they got from the Zodiac, it called him out by name. So that's where there was a lot of suspicion that he was actually had forged that letter, but not verified at all. And I guess people don't think that's true, but that was the rumor at the time. And again, it just adds to the complexity of it. If you've got people forging letters in the case that are involved, it's
for sure, and especially like a prominent detective like that, like he got put on pawn shop detail after that shit. It was a major blow to his career. Yeah, like that's no bueno, man. Yeah,
crazy. Man. All right, so Allison Troy, who's very close to the case, she does not think that Arthur Lee Allen is a good suspect. Where's Where am I at? Okay, so I put together 2 different slides. You can see this is the case. Whoa. I worded it wrong. This is basically all the things that make people think that it wasn't him. This is why he was never arrested. Okay, let me just read through all the 6 of these real quick, and then we can discuss. But this is interesting. DNA did not match. They looked at the stamps in 2002, and I think maybe some other things, and none of the DNA ever matched Arthur Lee Allen. The handwriting from both hands didn't match. I read one thing that what they were saying that they, without him knowing, they got his right-handed because he was left-handed, but that they got his right-handed writing samples, and that didn't match. But that's not the case. They sat him down and they said, write for us, like write a bunch of shit. Just from looking into it, it would be like super hard to beat that. Like if you were like purposely trying to throw it off, like the Zodiac had a very fluid writing style or whatever, but supposedly it would really be a tricky thing to beat that. Fingerprints, one found in the cab in Paul Stein's blood, didn't match, and that could have been a cop, that could have been people afterwards, it could have been contaminated or whatever, but there's a palm print on the Zodiac letter that doesn't match. There's multiple physical descriptions of him that don't match Arthur Lee Allen, but that's another thing that would lead people to question whether or not it was more than one person. There's some people saying like, oh, this, I saw him and he was 100 pounds lighter than other people that say they saw him and 4 inches taller or whatever. He passed a polygraph test, which isn't bulletproof, but again, you know, it's pretty interesting. And then the ballistics to the gun that they found like whatever, certain people were killed with, I think, a 9mm. And when they searched his house, they found a 9mm weapon, but it wasn't the same. Again, he could have got rid of it because it was the murder weapon and then got another one because he likes those guns. So
with a polygraph, isn't it like if you believe something, you can pass that shit pretty much?
I think so.
There's shit.
I feel like it's just so inadmissible these days. The way you can just
whether like drink. Was like
I think they said he came in hungover as shit, knowing that he had it scheduled. Yeah, and really, like, the first time that they had it scheduled, and they couldn't even do it, and then he came in a second time and passed it. So I think he was just probably stalling and figured.
That's interesting.
I mean, God was whoever it was.
Yeah, and the DNA thing, I got to talk about this because I've looked into this a little bit, and it pisses me off. I swear it's contaminated DNA because they got it from like the outside of the stamp and the outside of the envelopes, and it could be anybody that touched it, anybody at the Chronicle. It could have been like the mail lady. That was the other
thing. Like when these letters showed up, did you all notice how many fucking people?
Everybody touched them.
I love that one shot when Toshi and Armstrong are go to retrieve one of those letters, and they're like, "Who here in this room didn't touch it?" And like fucking
one person.
You got a guy in the corner licking at it. What? Like that?
Right.
But then, like, interesting. As far
Don
as
Chaney, I guess. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I don't even think like DNA testing. I know it didn't exist, but I don't even think it was something that was like, oh, they're working on this. Like, I don't think a person at that time, even a really smart person, would know like, oh, don't lick the stamp. They can get something from it. It wouldn't even be in someone's mind to try to hide that at the time.
Right. I think they could find like the blood type from saliva back then, and that was something they used to narrow down. But I don't think like the DNA wasn't like a thing because Don Chaney, I guess, told police that Arthur Lee Allen would have him lick stamps for him because Arthur said that. Yeah, that's something I found, which I thought was weird. Like I've been same as you, like diving deep this week after watching the movie. I was like, what the hell? And, like it's such a frustrating case, but there's like so much, and like a lot of these testimonies also like you have to be like. A lot of them came out after the movie was big. Like, is this like somebody's personal grift at this point? And like, it's so bizarre. Like, all of it is so frustrating and crazy and weird. But like, yeah, I think that's what makes this case so like everlasting in people's mind is because there's so many different angles and like so many good suspects with so much circumstantial evidence for each like fucking suspect. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah. Allison, I'm going to hit your comments in reverse because this is interesting. She's saying Chaney is the much better suspect. That's interesting.
That's something I've read too.
Don Chaney is the friend that says that he told him all this shit. I'm going to kill people. I'm going to call myself the Zodiac. I'm going to put a flashlight on my gun.
The kitty's bouncing off the bus.
Night, the bus thing.
Yeah, like it was just oddly specific how he went.
It is a crazy.
He talked about driving around with Lee at Lake Herman. Like he stopped and lingered at a certain location. It just all seemed so weird. My vote is for Lawrence Kane. Y'all are familiar
Which
with
one's
Lawrence
that?
Kane?
Who's that?
So Lawrence Kane was the one that Kathleen Johns picked out of the profile of the dude who she was the pregnant lady, the lady with the kid in the car. She picked him up out. But you know what you don't realize in Zodiac was he had her in the car for 2 hours before she jumped. She jumped out with the kid. He came back with a flashlight and tried to find her in the tall grass, but she hid. Not only that, he had connections to Darlene Ferrin, the girl who was killed in the second
opening scene.
Right, and then like there's another girl named Donna Lass who I think her boyfriend saw Kane abduct her after her shift at a casino in Nevada, and they ended up finding her skull in like 2003 and was able to identify it through DNA stuff. Not only that, but when you look at the Paul Stein shooting, they drew a guy with glasses and a real prominent widow's peak. That was Stein. And at Lake Berryessa earlier in the day, they had seen some sketch, like he was basically stalking his victims, following different people, and he didn't have glasses, but he had a real prominent widow's peak. And his face looked like a lot like Stein. So, I mean, Kane. So yeah, Lawrence Kane. I think Lawrence Kane and Don Chaney to me are the top two besides Arthur Lee. If you're gonna try to pin it on somebody.
Interesting, man. What was I in here? Allison, I'm looking at you as like the expert on this, Allison. I'm going through your comments like they're part of the fucking evidence and shit. The thought among us that Alan wanted people to think he was Zodiac and lean into because of a more glamorous than being a child abuser. That's interesting. The other point that she was making is that he was a pedophile, so it would be kind of weird for a pedophile to have adult victims. It's just like all those things. Like, yeah, it's a little bit strange, but it definitely doesn't take him out of it. Like, I've always thought it was weird. I've always said this. If I was going to be a serial killer, I would just make sure to vary my methods, because like that's what locks you down is like a serial killer. It's what gets the cops on your ass and like the media to be extra interested when they know you're a serial killer. So just mix it up, move from state to state, change your style and all that. But
like Ruffalo said what he was doing with Paul Stein, breaking the pattern. And it like Paul Stein's just feels like such an anomaly. And the fingerprint left there just feels on purpose. There was gloves left in the back seat. He could have definitely been wearing a disguise. So like the whole Lawrence Kane theory could be invalid off of that. Man, you can't help but wonder what if those two cops had actually done their job though, right? I love that look that Ruffalo gives those two after like he's had that conversation with them and he's just like, you motherfuckers. Like, we didn't stop him because of this, that, and the third. It's like he would have been.
I've kind of thought this too, Allison. Like, I don't feel that guy could have been anybody. You know what I mean? The guy that she was riding around with in the car could have been fucking anybody.
Why did they think it was the Zodiac? Because he took credit for it, right? The Zodiac wrote in and said
but that was after. That was
after it was already public.
Fact, right?
Yeah,
like the murder of that cop. Like he said, I shot a cop in the car. Or whatever. That was the same.
Yeah.
Thing. So you don't know. But the cop killing is so weird because he was just like writing the parking ticket. Somebody put a gun in his passenger side window and killed him.
So this is the case against Arthur Lee Allen. It is much fucking longer. It's much longer. You know what? Fuck it. I will go through it. All the stuff that we said about Don Chaney, all the things that he said, that Arthur Lee Allen said to him, the Zodiac watch, that's fucking cool. That's just kind of a cool thing. 10.5 shoes. Crime scene proximity. He lived in Vallejo. He was around the area. The survivor at the end of the movie that ID'd him, the McPoyle brother, he brought up the most dangerous game, which the detectives were already onto. And he's like, oh, yeah, it's one of my favorite book. The Bloody Knives, chicken blood, as he says, which we mentioned. The fact that he when he was a teacher, this is one thing that they talked about in the documentary on Netflix, that the Seawater kids that he knew as when they were kids, they said every Friday that's what he did as a teacher. It's like, okay, we're going to do ciphers. And he would go to the board and he would teach them how to do codes and like how to break codes. And he would send them home over the weekend with a cipher. They would have to come back and break it. The bit in the movie, which I had to look into because it seemed like some bullshit, but that is a true thing. Like, at least through interviews, FBI have documented that maid, I can't remember whose maid it was, but she answered the phone. Dude said he was the Zodiac. He had to kill someone because it was his birthday. And that was Arthur Lee Allen's birthday, December 18th, 2 days away from my birthday, by the way.
That's crazy.
The whole no letters while he's in jail thing. At one point, they found bomb-making materials in Arthur Lee Allen's house. He obviously threatened to blow up school buses and shit like that. And then all this stuff from the seawater claims from that documentary. One of the big ones, and one of the things that's like really cool about that documentary is the lake kill. What's the name of that lake, Steve?
Berryessa.
They say in that documentary, for those that haven't seen it, that they were like, he was friends with their mother, and he would just every now and then he would pick him up and he would take him places. And they say they noticed years later, like, holy shit, he took us to all of the scenes of the crimes before they took place. They would just get in the car and they would drive and they would go places, and it seemed like he was like scouting them out. But one of them in particular was there. They went to that lake. They parked the car up on top of this big hill. He told them, stay in the car. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go do some diving. And he left. He went down the hill, and he came back an hour later, all huffing and puffing. And they say he had blood all over his fucking hands, and he's shoving shit into the trunk. And he got in the car and took off like a bat out of hell. That, to me, again, circumstantial. It's 40-year-old children's memories. But when you put it all together, it's like shit. I mean, I don't know if he did it or not, but goddamn, does it look like he did it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like he was alone. I feel like he was alone at Berryessa.
I do believe there was a group of partners, bro. Like, but no, yeah.
Like a cult of the Zodiac? Like there was like 5 of them or some shit? That'd be crazy.
Yeah. That is a very intriguing theory.
Yeah. One person writing the letters, because that is something I looked into. There is consistency with the letters. There's like a point where his language changes. Like, and this is something that they found out years later using like computers, putting the letters into the computers, and they're like, oh, the way he speaks changes. The style like of the letters and shit stays the same, but his vocabulary changes over time, which is interesting.
Yeah. Is the Seawater one that Go ahead. Is the Seawater one the FX documentary? Because that got debunked.
No, it was the Netflix one, which is these are all.
There's
like
one where
these
dude
kids
his father was.
Yeah, the one that the guy was blaming his father for being the.
And it turned out he was in Europe the whole time.
I guess there's a Peacock documentary where it focuses on there is no Zodiac Killer, like that it was a bunch of different people, and it was like almost it was only connected by the letters, and there was different people writing the letters and taking credit for different murders, and there was no actual Zodiac Killer, just like one dude and then a copycats after that. I'd like to check that one out. I watched like a YouTube thing that was the theory, but
that is an intriguing theory,
right?
And also, there's gonna only be so many coincidences in reality before it's like if there's a connection when there's so many coincidences. So it's like he might not have been the only killer, but he was certainly one of them, I believe. I
believe it too, honestly. Just like, yeah, even like in the interviews that you see that were done right before he died, like he just, I don't know, my bullshit alarm goes off. I don't know if it's because of all the shit that I've heard, and you know what I mean, but he seems fake. Even like his voice that he's doing. Like I feel like I could do that voice. If I feel like he's faking the way that he fucking talks and acting all like a victim.
Yeah. He gives me the we're talking about Arthur Lee Allen's final like interviews and stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely gives me the creeps. I don't know, like something about it. And like I don't know, it could be just because I'm going in thinking this guy could be the Zodiac, but there is something about it where I'm like, he just gives me. There's something about it. There's just something wrong. There's something's making my like uncanny valley like sensor go off. I'm like, oh, I don't know. He's making me feel like I'm in danger. He's creepy. So there's something, and like he is a bad person. So there's also that too. Right. Like, so it makes it so hard because you're like, well, I can't like be like, oh, because he is a creep. Like that's known. Right. He's a child abuser. But like, oh, I think I don't know. It is weird because you don't hear about a lot of like serial killers who are also like child abusers. Like that's like I can't think of one. So it is like it would be weird, I guess, the victim profile, but there's so much like evidence, and I know none of it's like conclusive, but there's just so much of it.
I love the way they plant those seeds of doubt like both ways when they finally serve that warrant on his trailer. And you go out there and he's got all those fucking squirrels and shit, and it's super fucking weird in there, porn mags and all that stuff. And then you find out like he tore out like 30 minutes before they got there. So you don't know if he's got somebody on the inside, like, and then he just shows back up and he's kind of like, it's whatever. But it's just like, I love the way they, the police and their constant like hounding of this guy and trying to find something, but not being able to really come up with anything. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I love his oddly short shorts when he shows up. What are you guys doing in my trailer? It's like, well, first of all, why are your shorts so short? That's an odd look on a man of your stature.
There's this gross picture that's like in all the documentaries of Arthur Lee Allen where he has like a torn up like diving suit and you see his ass. And I'm like, why do they keep showing? Like the last person's ass I wanted to see was Arthur Lee Allen's. And it's just like the top of his crack, but it's enough where I'm like, stop showing this goddamn picture.
That's funny.
Terrible.
That's this, and this is I don't know. I wish I would have looked into that a little bit more. I've heard this elsewhere that there's a lot of evidence that suggests, as Allison's saying, that the seawater people, I want to call them kids, but they're all like in their 60s or 70s in the documentary, but they were kids at the time, that they weren't being truthful. My bullshit detector in that honestly does not go off at all. They come across as being very genuine. There's 3 of them. Oh, and I left this out. One of them says that they talked to Arthur Lee Allen years and years later, as they're like in their 50s or 60s. And he tells them, like, oh, I wasn't that great to you guys. And you don't know this, but I used to drug you. And I did things to one of your sisters. He tells him that. And then, so one of the older brothers in another conversation says he talked to him. And he's like, were you the Zodiac Killer? Are you Zodiac? And he told him, yes. That's what this dude says. Just a dude saying some shit. So who knows? But it's another thing that leads you to believe that it maybe was him.
That disconnect between like him molesting kids and like killing young adults or older, like, fully grown people though is kind of weird to me. I feel like if that was his fixation, then he would be killing minors. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. For sure.
That psychology doesn't necessarily line up.
No, definitely for sure.
I don't know.
All right. You guys, anybody got anything else that they want to get into about the movie, about the case, about life, about serial killer? Anybody got a favorite serial killer? I'm a Bundy fan. No, that's a fucked up way to say it, but he's another.
Bundy was a fucking
endlessly interesting. You know what I mean?
How did you guys dug into
Go ahead.
Sorry, no, you go ahead.
No, that whole run we escaped courthouse and fucking went up north and watched the college football game, and then went down to Florida State and did what he did. But like, it was just I don't know.
Have you guys dug into the Israel Keys case at all? Have you heard of Israel Keys?
No,
that's a crazy, intriguing case because it's like we know who the serial killer is, but we don't know who a lot of his victims are. But
really?
Like, there's only like 4 confirmed, I think. But he definitely did like a lot more than that. And like, so like,
what era?
I want to say between 90s and like he got caught in 2012. I want to say, or that's when he died. He ended up killing himself in prison on death row, I think, or just like while the investigation was going or whatever. But like, it's a crazy, crazy case. Is what
he used to bury murder kits in the
he would plan it out.
Shit years before, bury a murder kit. Like one of those, I think there was an old couple on the East Coast that he killed. Like he had stashed a kid in the ground like a year or 2 before.
Yeah, like 2 years prior. And like that's one of the confirmed kills to that couple in I think it was Vermont. And he would kidnap them in one location, take them like across state lines, kill them in one across state lines, and then he would take their bodies to a 3rd state and bury them.
Crazy.
And, switching it up all this like jurisdictional crap. Yeah.
You know what? Respect. Where's my respect button? No, just
it's a horrifying case, but it's very interesting. Yeah.
He just got sloppy at the end. He abducted a girl like from a coffee shop on camera. It was kind of bizarre, honestly.
And then he kept her in his backyard.
And
then he started using her ATM card, and then he got caught.
He definitely got lazy towards the end. He was like, I've got to wait along this far.
That makes it makes you wonder how many he got. Like if he was at that point.
He claimed
on that dreaded sundown. Great call out, man. I've seen that. That almost made our Road to Halloween series, Allison. Like the evolution of the slasher thing that we did. I mean, it's a weird movie to watch now, and the remake is definitely worth a watch. That would be a cool like double feature, maybe a back-to-back thing to do those two. But it's a 1977 mass killer before Michael Myers. Was it 1977? It might have even been before Texas Chainsaw. But yeah, great call. That's an interesting movie. Really cool.
So there was this movie they're watching in the theater, the Zodiac movie that they're watching, and that movie is available on YouTube. And I tried watching it, and it was really, really bad.
Really?
I gave up about 45 minutes, and I was like, I don't think I can handle much more of this. Like, I tried watching it right the same day that I watched the David Fincher one, so like my quality like levels were really high, and I just couldn't manage it. I was like, I can't watch this right now. Yeah, it was too drastic of a change.
What's it called?
The Zodiac Killer, and it's on YouTube.
That's the one that they did the screening for and tried to capture him at, right?
Yeah, they tried to they made that movie for the specific person to catch him. So it's like a basic, like it was whipped together real fast, and it's like super cheap, and it's.
I was wondering what that was.
Yeah, they handed out questionnaires to the audience, and like there was some like leaning question, and based on responses, they were supposed to identify suspicious. They thought he would come. His ego would bring him there to see the premiere.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he went. Whoever it was, I'm sure he went. So, like, could you imagine not if you were the killer? Like,
yeah.
But this is a little bit of a random thing, but we can't do this show without pointing out the links that Wes went to entertain us. Show people your butt.
I have not.
I love that. Yeah. I love it. We were saying earlier, like we couldn't find any on eBay, but you can find them on Etsy for $2 if anybody's interested. I'm not Paul Avery.
Yeah.
Just to shout out BTK. He's a scary one with like those people that could do such heinous shit and then live these really like
normal,
like normal, beloved dad, beloved member of the community type shit. That's fucking freaky. Obviously, Dahmer. There's the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez. He might be like one of the nastiest and gnarliest. I don't remember a lot of details.
He was like a spree guy to me.
Yeah. He was like
creeping into people's fucking windows.
Yeah, there was no.
Was he the guy that would just go in through unlocked doors? That was him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just like a fucking. I mean, they're all fucking psychopaths, but he was extra gnarly. The Gainesville slasher, one of the inspirations for Scream. Yep. What's his name? Kevin Williamson was watching a documentary on the Gainesville slasher. That's the whole like the genesis of Scream. I've told this story on the show before, but he was watching a documentary on the Gainesville slasher, and he's talking to his buddy on the phone. He looks over and there's a random window open in his house. And it like freaked him out, and they started talking about it, and that's what kind of was the genesis of the idea of Scream. just to shout out a few.
I don't want to forget anybody.
We don't want to leave anyone out. That would not be cool. All right, I feel like we've done this thing justice, man. Great conversation, everybody. Let's go around, rate this bad boy, and then I'm going to tell you guys what all we're doing here on Blood Splatter Chatter for Horror Fest, which begins next week. Spooky season begins very early around these parts. We're kicking it off. I'll tell you now. Sleepaway Camp 1 and 2 next week, right here. So excited about it. I already watched the special features for both of them, and it just got me so fucking jacked, especially for Sleepaway Camp 1.
Yeah.
Like I fucking love that movie. Is it the greatest movie ever? No, but I fucking love it. What do you think, Link? Stu? Out of 5, what are you giving Zodiac? I have an inkling.
Easy 5. Infinitely rewatchable. I think, like I said, like in a historical document, summer '69 was crazy. Manson was August of that same summer. It's really a cultural touchstone in America. I think the death of the dream, the realization that we are sick and we will always be sick, and there is a sickness and violence among us, and that we are drawn to it in a weird, macabre way. And so, I think out of this summer, so much happens. Obviously, so much going on in the world at large. But I think this was just a brilliant snapshot of that moment, of that era. Incredible ensemble performances. Just really did, great justice, not only to the truth and the facts of the case, but what these survivors and investigators went through, and how it altered the course of their lives and continues to do so. So, I think one of the best, most accurate movies ever made about an American serial killer, and also just one of the most entertaining. So easy 5.
Hell yeah, man. I want to shout out, super random. I'm glad I thought of this. You can't find this movie, Kevin Costner movie. Look it up, like reviews of it. People fucking say it's terrible. But did anyone ever see Mr. Brooks?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, he's a serial killer. Yeah,
Fuck
2007, 2008.
I loved. You can't find it. Like, you can't stream the movie. I don't know why. I don't know what's
Wasn't
going on with
Dane
it.
Cook in that bitch?
Honestly, bro, I don't remember. It's been since then that I watched it, but I just remember like Dane fucking Cook, the comedian.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Dane Cook was in that. Yeah.
Interesting. For whatever reason, that's just like I thought of it before. I'm like, dude, I want to shout out Mr. Brooks. I wanted to cover it at one point, and then I looked into it. I'm like, you can't find this thing. But I remember it being really like, it was the first thing, like it was before Dexter, where it made me look at, and I'm not trying to like excuse any fucking serial killers, where it kind of makes you look at it as almost like an illness, like this compulsion to kill, and they got to get rid of it. And it's like a disorder that some people have. But it was very, very interesting ass movie. The other thing I wanted to shout out is Stu, I love what you said, like we're sick. 1969, like they were realizing like this flower power, like what they were trying, peace, love, utopian ideas, like it's not gonna work. And there's a John Lennon song called God, where it's John Lennon who was like the head of all that, or at least like, you know, one of the what people think of when they think about that. And it's like the dream is over. Like that's one of the lines in it. The dream is over. Like I was the walrus, blah blah blah. It's so fucking, it's so poignant. And it's such a great song about the end of that era and realizing like, yeah, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna be like
absolutely. Hunter S. You and I were talking about it last night. Hunter S. Thompson in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is that great passage that like you can go up on the cliffs and see that spot where the wave broke.
Yeah,
roll back. Like it's just it's so true. You can see
it's
like,
interesting.
We almost got there, man, but we couldn't.
Right. And then the 70s was just so tumultuous and just like violent and nasty after. It was like the reaction of that. And I think this is all part of it. It's Manson. Manson was huge as far as like scaring the shit out of people and really turning people against the idea of flower power and hippies and scaring the shit out of all those people. But yeah, hell yeah.
Being in California in 69 was summer 69 was a wild ass experience.
So many fucking serial killers back then.
Yeah. Even the Golden, have you guys heard of the Golden State Killer? He was actually around that time.
He was good.
He only just got caught over the pandemic. That's how crazy like some of this like it's crazy.
That's
crazy,
wild.
crazy. Yeah.
All right, what do you think, Link? Out of 5, my brother. You guys in the chat too.
When was his last kill? What year?
It's a good question. I think
the last confirmed one was Paul Stein.
Right.
What year was that? I can't.
That was that 70? It still might have been 69.
I think that was.
I've got theory just because I feel like the 70s was the last of like the analog
69.
era. If you look at the 80s, 69. Okay, so we'll round up 70s, 70. But like the 80s is like the blueprint for a lot of shit that's poignant and prevalent today, you know, like in terms of like, you know, if we're looking at comic books, you know, a lot of comic books started to get darker in the 80s and that emulates today, like MTV culture, the way MTV changed music culture is still kind of emulated today. Like the 70s was like the last of like the era before that. So I'm just curious if he was like the serial killer was one person or if they're a group of people. They're smart enough to realize like, yo, technology is getting too like back in the day, if you were smart enough, you could get away with murder literally, you know, but nowadays Big Brother in the sky and everything and just the way technology is, I wonder if they kind of like got cold feet and just kind of like, all right, let's leave all the gettings good,
right? Or just too much heat because of all the press. Like they wanted all the press, and then they, you know what I mean? Because if it was Arthur Lee Allen, just saying, if it was him, something changed in his mentality. You know what I mean?
Right.
If it was him, it does seem like he was at least going to be a remorseful person. I don't know. I mean, I came into this being like, it was fucking Arthur Lee Allen, but if Allison Troy,
I still believe it.
Think
Allen,
I don't know.
I don't even think it was solely him after that.
Yeah, Allison, who's your top suspect, by the way?
I forget what
Cheney.
She might have.
I think it's Cheney.
She did. Yeah. That's it. I didn't even consider that, but that's interesting.
But like, what if it was like both Don Cheney and Arthur Lee Allen, and they were just
that's
like,
what I think.
We'll just have the cops bounce between us both, and then they'll just get confused.
Right.
And neither of us.
That fucking True Detective, weren't they doing some shit similar to that? Like the killer cult.
There is. I haven't seen it, but I have heard that.
And weren't they kind of pedophiles too?
Yeah. They were
not to get too deep into it.
But then there's also there's just so every bit of evidence in this movie is muddied up by some, well, and in the case in real life is muddied up by something that makes it frustrating, because like Don Chaney's testimony could have been like, I don't think he was like making up everything, but there's also like a story that I guess Arthur Lee Allen had touched Don Chaney's daughter in an inappropriate way.
Yeah.
And so Don Chaney would have motivation to be like, oh, well, you know, maybe they won't take, you know, child abuse seriously, but if I tell them that he's the Zodiac, you know, maybe they'll get enough heat on him. Like, there's so much, like every bit of evidence is muddied by something. And it's so maddening. It's so maddening. Nothing's clean in this case. It's crazy.
Nothing clear.
Probably never will be, bro, unfortunately.
Allison, are you talking about Moby? Says Moby was born in 1965. That's when the real evil was unleashed upon the world, and everything just came to a head in 1965.
Hey, that makes sense, though. Let's put it together, bro.
That's circumstantial, Allison. That's circumstantial. Chaney, my top suspect, explains all the Allen evidence. If Allen had really done it, we'd have his DNA at the scenes. He was a sloppy, dirty guy.
That's one thing. It's like
I am. You are what? Are you the Zodiac?
You're the Zodiac.
Moby. Talking about Moby, I believe.
Yeah. Sorry,
but
did we ever?
I'm giving it a very solid 4.5. Just, you know, it's a banger. It's aged well. The way, like Stu said, the way they handled the case and edit. I don't know this. You know, you got to give it up because it's like the way, you know, you could watch this in a crime documentary. But the way it was laid out in this cohesive visual sense is very compelling and just entertaining all throughout. So yeah, very solid 4.5.
Oh yeah, I like that because you're right. You could get this; it would just be different. It's cool that this exists.
Different
something where they paid this much attention to detail. They tried to get it right. They tried to, like you were saying, Stu,
put it in a cohesive.
To pin it on anybody, trying to leave it up to the viewer. Like it's almost like a documentary in that way that doesn't push you too hard. It pushes you toward Arthur Lee Allen clearly, but it doesn't push you like over the top towards him. Hell yeah, well said. Like, Wes, what you thinking?
Yeah, I give it a 4.5 easily, 4.5 out of 5 easy because it's I think one of the scariest movies I've ever seen, just from the suspense alone of just how how Link was saying everything plays out. And somebody in the chat said earlier that it's always tension and there's no relief. And I agree. Like there's no relief. And even after the movie ends, you still don't feel any relief because you're like, nobody was arrested for this. Like
I think
nobody
I'm pissed off by the end, to be honest. I'm like, and you're like,
I mean, I'm frustrated like to this day. Like, and I watched it like I think 2 days ago. I'm still frustrated about it, and like, and it's just incredibly done. And it does point you towards Arthur Lee Allen, but it muddies everything, just like the real case is. And I think that's brilliant because you know, you could say the movie pins it on Arthur Lee Allen, but then you see all the other pieces that the movie's like, look at this possibility, look at this possibility, and it's just, I think in the hands of a lesser director, this movie would be so like 3.5 hours long and not good and like very incoherent and incohesive. But the way it's edited and the way it's shot and just the brilliant camera work by I didn't look up the cinematographer, but props to them. Everything just comes together and makes this really terrifying, brilliant, you know, mostly factually accurate film, which, you know, outside of a straight documentary, I don't think anything even this close to, you know, accuracy has been made in the world of true crime before in a, you know, a Hollywood film, you know, so it's incredible work.
Well said, brother. I'm going back and forth on my score. I'm going to say similar to what I said to Wind River. Like for me, it's a 4.5. My only like complaint, I feel like Stu, you said like that first hour is so gripping. There are bits in the middle where it sags a little bit or whatever, but I think they wanted to do it right. They wanted to cover everything and not really leave anything too important out. So it gets a little slow at certain times, and it's a true story. That's usually how these things go. But I will bump it up and give it a 5 because of what it does to me afterwards. Because it just like Wind River, it makes you want to go look into shit. And like, you know, you can get more miles out of the film because of that. And it's so cool in that way, man. So
I'll be honest, like one of the first things, to your point, one of the first things I did is I had to go because I couldn't remember exactly who the characters were, but I saw one dude pass away from a heart attack and shit. I was like, who exactly was this dude in the movie? And it's like, it just,
Yes.
it definitely has.
You almost need to be taking notes. Being like, okay, whose fucking house are we at right now? Yes, exactly. There's a lot of characters, but yeah, on rewatches, it's probably, and we've all seen the movie multiple times, so yeah, I agree. It's confusing at times. And then there's whole parts of the movie you forget it happened.
The ending in the hardware scene is like, in the hardware store is like, you love that scene, but at the same time, you're like, man, get the fuck out of here.
Say something, motherfucker.
That kind of happened, like, for reals. Like, it happened outside the hardware store. And they like passed each other in a car. Like Graysmith had gone to the hardware store to like spy on Alan, and Alan had came out and drove by and like stared down at him and like gave him like an evil eye or whatever, and then drove off. Cool. Yeah, so that's the real life version of it. But then again, I'm like, oh, that it has to be him. But then I'm like, oh, but this guy is also somebody who's famously implicated you to be the Zodiac. You'd probably hate him too. So it's like, I don't know.
No, that's incredible. The whole way he set that up, like how he sees him, you see the sign first, and he like appears slowly behind the sign, and then like fucking facial expressions between the two. What? Yeah, like
I love how he like.
I would have. Sorry to Allison Troy's comment. That would have been. I would love to see fucking. This is something I think Fincher will work magic at with if he had time. You definitely have time to like pace it where it's like in a movie he's got to like hit certain bullet points. I think there'd be more dread in a 8 to 10 episode series.
Hell yeah. Mine had a great follow-up to this movie.
Netflix deal. Yeah. That would have been sick.
All right, so hell yeah, man. We got 2 5s from Stu and I, 2 4.5s from Wes, and Link, not quite the double Dragon Brothers, but we're getting there. All right, that's a PCP joke. All right, so let's run through the Blood Splatter Chatter Horror Fest lineup, man. So this year we have 6 channels involved. It's us, it's Pop Culture Philosophers, it's Dylan's Horror Show, it is Hero for Hire's Comics, it is Metal Elf Collectibles, and One Collection Down. We're staggering it. We're not all starting at the same time. We're starting with just myself, us, Pop Culture Philosophers, and Dylan, and then others are joining throughout the spooky season. And as I said, we are kicking it off. Oh, excuse me. Pop Culture Philosophers is kicking it off with the Omen franchise, which I will be on. Anybody else on that? Link, you're not, right? Toy Story and Expendables was enough. You couldn't do a franchise 3 weeks in a row.
The franchise reviews are crazy. Like, God bless y'all. I don't know how y'all do that.
This one, I don't know, man. I might be the one that's like shitting on these movies more than anybody else. I love the first one, but even watching the second one, I'm like, oh, this might not be great. But we'll see. I'm curious how that's going to go. But as I said, we kick it off here next Thursday, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time for all these with Sleepaway Camp and Sleepaway Camp 2. Love it. Then, this was the last minute edition. I pulled out a movie and I said, fuck it. John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness. This is going to be a fun one.
Nice.
It should be a great conversation. We'll leave it at that. Now, Warren Smith says we would be cool as penguin piss if we were to ever cover Battle Royale. The day after he told me that, and I want to be fucking cool as penguin piss. I don't know about you guys. The day after he told me that, Stu, you said, I want to do Battle Royale. So fuck yeah. I've never seen it. So looking forward to that. Yeah. It's supposed to be badass. Identity. This has been one. Like you've been bringing up forever. We've been wanting to cover forever. I haven't seen it in
forever.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That'll be a great conversation. I love I almost said Joan Cusack, but John Cusack.
And her funny lips.
Link's pick. Yeah. That's what I was so looking forward to this, man. I was really struggling. I wanted to get Killer Clowns on the list, and I wanted Demons. Both of them. I don't know how well you could get an hour conversation out of either of those movies, but together, this is going to be like the most fun double feature for a horror review ever. I'm really looking forward to that.
Argento did like a supernatural.
He produced it. He produced it. It's Lamberto Bava, son of Mario Bava, best friend to Dario Argento, written by Dario Argento. So he produced it and he wrote it. It's kind of him saying "fuck you" to his critics. It's amazing. You're gonna watch it. You'll be like, oh, that's where Verno got that for that intro. Oh, that's where he used that for this other intro. You know a lot of these scenes. That's a banger. Speaking of bangers, Suspiria. 2018.
shit.
Looking forward to that. Great conversation for sure. Can't wait to do that. A Nightmare on Elm Street. We are like, what, 3.5 years into Blood Splatter Chatter. We've never done a Freddy movie. So we're kicking it off. This is the October 1st right here. Nightmare on Elm Street. Fable making his comeback for that, by the way. Fable's going to join us here on Blood Splatter Chatter for the first time in fucking forever. Day of the Dead. We've done night. We've done dawn. We're doing day. This is part of, I should have my Savini week little thing right there. We're doing one of the coolest things that we've done for Horror Fest, where Robbie didn't give me credit when he announced this, but I hit him up, said we should do a themed week. And within like 30 seconds, we're doing 2 themed weeks, and he picked Savini week. So we're doing that, and I'll get to the other one in a minute. So all 6 channels are doing Tom Savini movies, and everybody picked great movies. We've got the one he directed in Night of the Living Dead, 1990. Fable picked his best acting role from Dusk Till Dawn. Some other great ones, and I think this is his like magnum opus, special effects, his best work that he's done in that department.
Dude, I have not been able to peel the opening scene from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 with the old boy sewed to his like.
Hell
it's just such amazing.
I forgot he did that too.
God,
so I love that we're
haunting.
doing it. I think Robbie made such a good pick with Savini, and I want to do this like every year, like highlight some kind of icon. I think Savini is a really fucking cool place to start. Evan, my brother, the winner of Masks, winner of Trivia Contest. This is his pick. He sent me this movie, and he wanted us to do this for Horror Fest, and I said, fuck yeah. Link's never seen this. This is one of the only movies in the past 20-some years that my man hasn't seen. So looking forward to that. And then we are doing Horror Without Borders Week, where this was my idea. Each channel is doing a different horror movie from a different country. So spanning the globe. This is Mads from France from 2024. It was all done in one take. They shot the movie 5 times, and on the 5th take, they said that's the movie.
Holy shit.
It's fucking crazy to me.
I gotta see that.
You'll watch it and be like, what? Like, how? Really? They're going all over to different locations. It's crazy that they did this in one take. It's really impressive. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be an interesting one.
Yeah.
Then, and plus, you know what I like about it? We've got these 2 themed weeks, and I feel like it really covers like almost like what we're all about in this group of channels. Like, we like to keep it a little intellectual when we can, something like Horror Without Borders, but then we like to keep it fucking nasty, like some Tom Savini shit too. So I think it's really cool that these are the 2 featured weeks that we're doing.
Hell yeah.
Then we end it Halloween 2 and Halloween H2O. So these are like the 2. This is its own little universe where this is like wraps up the Jamie Lee Curtis, the original Jamie Lee Curtis timeline. So looking forward to this nice, fun way to finish it off. I think this would be like October 30th or the 29th, man. So
I love how we all agree that Resurrection never happened.
Yeah,
this does wrap up.
You're right.
This absolutely wraps it up. I agree with you there.
So Horrorfest 2026, they say it's going to be the biggest and baddest of all time. So there it is. There's the whole first half of it right there. Take a screenshot.
Wow.
Go check us out on Instagram, blood.splatter.chatter. Check out all the channels. Sub up to all of them on the interwebs here on YouTube. This is the second portion of it. It's all ending on Halloween night with Night of the Demon on PCP Movie Night. Fable the night before was doing the Evil Dead franchise, and I will be there for that as well. And then throw it out there, the following week, we're going to do the same thing we did last year. We're going to do the right here on Blood Splatter Chatter. We're doing the Horror Fest Look Back show. We'll play some trivia. There's probably going to be like a shit ton of people here. There's going to be like, I don't know, we might have like 9-10 motherfuckers here playing trivia. We might have teams. We might be divided up into teams for the trivia, but it's going to be fun. Really looking forward to that. The last thing I'm going to say, and right before we got rolling, me and Robbie just set this up. Him and I are going to do a show at some point. We'll announce it. I'm going to fucking tell you what it is right now. This was my idea. We're doing the greatest horror movies of all time bracket. We're taking 64 movies. We're seeding them out based on their IMDb scores. And we're going head to head. Him and I are going to debate who moves on until we get to the greatest horror movie of all time. We're going to pick out our criteria. We're going to nail it down, like what you got to meet, historical significance, effects, cast, crew, all that shit. So That's gonna be
Hell yeah.
fucking insane. We might be
You gonna do that in like March or some shit?
No, we're doing that in Horror Fest at some point.
Oh,
We're
okay.
gonna
Nice.
squeeze
Oh,
it
yeah.
in. So
Wait,
that
you're
is gonna-
doing that within all this?
That's crazy.
Yeah. You don't get, we don't have to watch any
Sure.
movies to do it. We just got to get together and talk about movies and
So it's just going to be one show, the whole bracket. You're going to go through it.
that's the plan. That's
Okay,
the plan.
okay.
I love how it started. I'm talking to Robbie, and he's like, at first we were going to do 32, and he's like, oh, God, I think we can make this work. And then within a couple of minutes, it's like, fuck it, we're doing 64, and we're doing it all live. It's like, yes, exactly.
Fuck yeah, amazing.
Yeah, a couple
So,
more
hell
horror
yeah,
fests.
man.
We're not going to have much more to watch.
Very excited, man. Very excited. Evan, again, thank you for sending me It Follows. You're the man. Appreciate all you guys.
Is he going to be with us for It Follows? Or?
Dude, he fucking should. No, not. I mean, maybe
Right.
not for It Follows. He should be doing the trivia. I want him here on the panel. Evan. Dylan says he's been trying to get him on for years and he won't do it. But Evan,
okay.
if you ever want to come on and do trivia, I'd like to see your face. Evan, I'd like to see your face. You're welcome, brother. Thanks for sending it to me. But all right, I ran on long enough. Stu, my brother, tell people
Man,
what you
that's
got.
incredible. Can't wait for Horror Fest. Incredible lineup.
Same.
Yeah, you get insights every Wednesday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern on my channel. Me and E going over our favorite comic books from Marvel, DC, Image, and the indies. And I'll be here every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern going through all those amazing Horror Fest selections with the fellas. So, yeah, you can catch me here or there.
Shit, yeah, brother. You got anything going on, Link? Like you already said, you dipped out of the Omen. You didn't.
No, I'll
Sign
be
up
here
for
next
that.
Thursday. I'm always somewhere on the internet, but yeah, I'll be back next
That's
Thursday.
what I'm talking about. Wes, where can people find you online? At @screen_brulee.
Over here, Screen Brulee, anywhere online, basically Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all the good spots. Letterboxd, people do that. I'm gonna be back here talking Battle Royale whenever that happens. I need to make sure to write that down on my calendar.
Yeah.
But I love that movie. So excited. I'm surprised you haven't seen it yet, so that's exciting. Fantastic film, honestly, one of my favorite.
You know what,
Japanese-
right, Link? Sorry, you've seen Battle Royale, Link?
So good.
Yeah, edgy fucking hardcore Hunger Games is what I like to call it.
Okay.
It-
I like
it's
the
good.
sound
It's
of
so
that.
good.
I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, it's a fantastic movie.
Hell yeah, man.
But yeah, I'm excited
All
about
you
that.
guys in the chat, appreciate the shit out of you guys. Have really been fantastic. And we will end it with the Horror Fest trailer. And we will see you next Thursday for the kickoff of Horror Fest 2026. But be there for the Omen franchise on Monday on Pop Culture Philosophy.
It's time for the most expansive, most comprehensive, and most bone-chillingly terrifying horror fest of all time.
It's got a death curse.
This fall, across 6 channels, we'll be reviewing 69 movies that will truly blow your horror-craving mind.
No, don't do that!
We have you covered almost every night of the week as we dive into cult classics, forgotten wonders, modern masterpieces, and movies you've never heard of from places you've never been. So come and celebrate the darker side of cinema and unleash your inner horror fun. It all starts August 17th on PCP Movie Night with the Omen franchise, and it all ends on Halloween night with Night of the Demon. It's all happening on Pop Culture Philosophers, Dylan's Horror Show, Blood Splatter Chatter, One Collection Down, Heroes for Hire Comic Club, and Metal Elf Collectible. Be sure to sub up to each and every one of these channels so you don't miss a single terrifying episode.